God's own country. What is really meant by this phrase? It is commonly defined a region or a place supposedly favored by God. Does it mean the place where God likes the most? Or is that the place where God dwells? Whichever it be, we know that both the statements are not right, logically. Rather, it is the title which was given by us to certain places on earth. Nature, history and religion were few of the influential factors behind this name. So what do you think? If this place appears to you as God's own place, or maybe this place? Let us see few of those places which got this title only because of its nature's beauty. Number 1 is Wicklow Mountains. Wicklow Mountains were the first to be called as God's own place. It was given by Edward Dubois, writing under the pseudonym, A Knight-Errant, in 1807. The Wicklow Mountains form the largest continuous upland area in the Republic of Ireland. They occupy the whole centre of County Wicklow, and stretch outside its borders into the counties of Dublin, Wexford, and Carlow, where the mountains extend into County Dublin. They are known locally as the Dublin Mountains. The highest peak is Lugnaquilla at 925 meters, that is 3,035 feet. The Wicklow Mountains experience a temperate oceanic climate with mild, damp summers and cool wet winters. The dominant habitat of the uplands consists of blanket fog, heath, and upland grassland. The uplands support a large number of bird species, including merlin and peregrine falcon. The valleys are a mixture of coniferous and deciduous woodland. The entire upland area is designated as a special area of conservation, and as a special protection area under European Union law. The Wicklow Mountains National Park was established in 1991 to conserve the local biodiversity and landscape. In common with the rest of the Ireland, the Wicklow Mountains experience a temperate oceanic climate with mild damp summers and cool wet winters. June and July are generally the driest months, and there is an average of 4 hours of sunshine a day over the entire year. Number 2 is Surrey. The Edward Dubois also used the term in a poem describing the English county of Surrey in 1839. The phrase was also used in its more literal meaning to refer to heaven, in a poem by Elizabeth Harcourt Rolls-Mitchell in 1857. Surrey contains valued reserves of mature woodland. Among its many notable spots are Box Hill, Leith Hill, Fresham Ponds, Newlands Corner, and Puttenham and Crooksherry Commons. Number 3 is Yorkshire. In the United Kingdom, the phrase is commonly used by people to describe Yorkshire, England's largest county. Thus is used interchangeably with God's own country. Yorkshire includes the North York Moors, and Yorkshire Dales National Park, and part of the Peak District National Park. Leaderdale and the Howardian Hills are designated areas of outstanding natural beauty. Yorkshire has a long tradition in the field of sports, with participation in cricket, football, rugby league and horse racing being the most established sports ventures. Number 4 is New Zealand. New Zealand is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, which is having a rolling green hills, majestic mountains, breathtaking fjords and amazing diversities of landscape from one island to the next. Thomas Bracken was an Irish-born New Zealand poet, journalist and politician. He wrote God Defend New Zealand, and it became one of the 2 national anthems of New Zealand. He was the first person gave to New Zealand the phrase God's own country. God's own country as a phrase was often used and popularized by New Zealand's largest serving Prime Minister, Richard John Seddon. He last quoted it on June 10, 1906. When he sent a telegram to the Victorian Premier, Thomas Bent. the day before leaving Sydney to return home to New Zealand. He wrote, "Just leaving for God's own country." But he never made it, dying the next day on the ship Westry Grange. New Zealand consists of a large number of islands, estimated around 600, mainly remnants of a larger landmass, now beneath the sea. The two main islands by the size are the North Island and the South Island, separated by the Cook Strait. New Zealand is the sixth largest country in the world. The climate of New Zealand is varied due to the country's diverse landscape. Most regions of New Zealand belongs to the temperate zone with a maritime climate, and it's characterized by 4 distinct seasons. Conditions vary from extremely wet on the west coast of the South Island to almost semi-arid in central Otago and subtropical in Northland. Number 5 is Australia. New Zealand's neighbouring country Australia is the next place got the phrase, God's own country. In Australia, the phrase was often used to describe the country in the early 19th century, but it appears to have gradually fallen out of favour. The phrase, God's country is often used to describe Queensland and the Sutherland Shrine in southern Sydney. Australia is the oldest, flattest and driest inhabited continent, with the least fertile soils. Indigenous Australians inhabited the continent for about 65,000 years prior to the first arrival of Dutch explorers in the early 17th century, who named it New Holland. In 1770, Australia's eastern half was claimed by Great Britain and initially settled through penal transportation to the colony of New South Wales from 26 January, 1788, a date which became Australia's National Day. Australia is a highly developed country, with the world's 14th largest economy. It has a high-income economy, with the world's 10th highest per capita income. Surrounded by the Indian and the Pacific Oceans, Australia is separated from Asia by the Arafura and Timor Seas, with the Coral Sea lying off the Queensland coast and the Tasman Sea lying between Australia and New Zealand. The world's smallest continent and 6th largest country by total area, Australia, owing to its size and isolation, is often dubbed the island continent and is sometimes considered the world's largest island. Number 6 is Kerala. Kerala, located in South India, in an extraordinary land with almost all elements of nature. Kerala is the 100% literate state in India and is also famous for travel and tourism. In the end of '80s, when the National Creative Director of Mudra, Mr. Walter Mendez, scripted the tagline, God's Own Country, Kerala Tourism initiated a trend in state tourism marketing. The literary meaning of Kerala is the land of coconuts. Kera in Malayalam means coconut. As Kerala is abundant with coconut plants, it naturally got the name Kerala. Kerala has been a major spice exporter since 3000 BCE, according to Sumerian records, and it is still referred to as the Garden of Spices or as the Spice Garden of India. Kerala is gifted with one of the most diverse and exotic flora and fauna in the world. It is wedged between the Lakshadweep Sea and the Western Ghats. Western Ghats is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and is one of the 8 hottest hotspots of biological diversity in the world. Kerala is also famous for its Ayurvedic treatments, rich culture, and colorful festivals. Kerala has been blessed with such abundant nature, mountains, deep-cut valleys, lush and evergreen rainforests, and tropical greenery, beautiful backwaters, waterfalls, hill stations, diverse flora and fauna, white sand beaches, breathtaking temples, mosques and churches, and so much more. Every nook and corner in Kerala you will see Hindu temples, Muslim mosques and Christian churches. and comparatively the people here live in great religious tolerance and without any communal riots. Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Jains and Jews have coexisted harmoniously for centuries. So if the search for the place on earth must be favored by God, Kerala sure beats the other places vying for the tag of God's own country.